Okay, A Feast of Crows Part 2, because there was just so much that happened in these 200 pages that I had to do two parts. So, to pick up where I left off, Robert had abused Cersei, and Cersei sleeps with her handmaid, and forgive me for this pronunciation, Tanais. And she at first thinks, I wonder if this is how Robert felt, but then she feels empty. Like, she doesn't feel anything about it. And she doesn't she thinks to herself, okay, well, I'm going to play like Robert did. It never happened. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up and it never happened. Like, she's searching to fill this empty void and it's just not happening for her. Cersei is a very lonely person. Like, she has no friends really. This handmaid that she lets sleep in her bed and that she guides in, even then she doesn't completely trust her. She often is thinking, oh, is she going to betray me? Oh, is she selling me out to Highgarden? Like, she never in full honesty thinks that anybody is on her side, and she thinks she's doing right by her kids, but to me that's in the air. And then I wanted to move on and talk about Edmure Tully. He is constantly being threatened to be hung. He is like tortured every day, and his uncle's like, just do it. You know, he doesn't want to keep playing the game. Either do it or don't. Like, quit threatening me. It's like telling your toddler, no, no doing this. Edmure Tully is just being tortured at this point. Like, they're not doing it to be anything but jerks. But what is interesting to me is his wife is pregnant while his sister and while his nephew were down there getting their throats cut and stabbed to death. He was getting his wife pregnant. So I think that's the irony. I don't know. Life begins and life ends. Toss up. I think it's interesting. Jamie also has a really interesting conversation with his aunt and learns a lot. She says something about Tyrion is Tywin's son and Tywin did not speak to her for 6 months. Like, Jamie is always thinking that, oh, I'm a Lannister. But it's interesting that everybody around thinks that Tyrion is more like Tywin than any of his children. And in a one regard, that is very true because he's much more thoughtful. Like, he thinks things through. Cersei's rash. Jamie just wants to play with his sword. Like, it's a big thing that they don't they don't think. Whereas Tyrion is always playing the long game and 10 steps ahead. I also love that Arya changes her name to Cat to honor Catelyn Stark. At the end of her chapter in this, she becomes blind. Now, I've seen that part in the show, but I think the book is going to describe it so much better. This is so sad to me, and I'm going to do a separate video on Master Aemon, but Master Aemon dies, and Samwell and Gilly are mourning him. They're figuring things out, and it's, to me, breaks my heart because in the show, I think they got the perfect guy to play Master Aemon, and him dying so far away and all the visions he was having and remembering Egg and Duncan, and it broke my heart to have to read that. Sam and Gilly kind of drown their sorrows in rum. Neither one of them had ever tasted it, and Gilly makes a really funny thing and says it tastes like fire, and Gilly and Sam end up doing the do, and Sam is so upset about it. He feels like he broke his oath. He says, I've always been craven, but now I'm an oath breaker as well. And I thought that was so sad. And much how I feel like Catholic priests and stuff, like, why is it that they feel you can't be married and have kids and still honor God or honor the wall? Like, to me, it's so sad because Sam is so devoted and loyal, and yet he wants Gilly. Like, he doesn't want much out of life except to be happy with Gilly and keep her safe. And Gilly says one of the best lines I have read. She says, the trees watch over us. In the forest they see all, but there are no trees here, only water, Sam. Only water. She's trying to assuage his guilt. She doesn't want him to feel like he's unworthy. He goes throughout the whole book and the show feeling craven and unworthy and like he's never doing enough. And Gilly does ease that for him. And I think that is one of the sweetest things. And I have to say, I wish they'd included this scene in the show. with Gilly and them. And I also think this would have been such a great performance. So Tommen shouts at his mother because she says something about plucking Marjorie's tongue out, and he shouts at his mother. She drags him by the ear and orders the whipping boy, so that Tommen, like, for all the I am king and he's the king, I'm just the regent. She's like, huh, I'm still your mother. Go to your room. I found that hysterically funny. Like, I would have loved to have seen something like that in the show. But they aged everybody up so much, I guess it wouldn't have made sense. But to see Cersei pulling an 8-year-old Tommen or to his room and being like, huh, nope, you're not talking to me like that. So great. And Cersei is dreaming of Maggie the Frog a lot. It's haunting her dreams. She's trying so hard to not lose any more of her children because she doesn't know that Marcella's dead yet. Or she's not even dead in the books. No, I take that back. She's got a wound to her face, but she's still alive. And Tommen's still alive. She's trying to not let prophecy come to be. And Maggie the Frog is haunting her dreams, and they're like, oh, take dream one, oh, do this. And none of it's working for her. And to end on a happy note, I think Brienne is a fabulous character. She is definitely a top 5 character out of the show and the book. And she rejects a marriage proposal. They're like, hey, marry me. Let's have lots of babies. I think you would be so much happier as a mother, because she feels sorry for all these starving children. And I don't think those two things are mutual, because I know personally I would feed starving children. Do I just want to sit at home and have babies? No. And I find that so weird that that was his only thought. And she also reminds him, you know, her father's young enough to remarry. He could very well have 5 more boys. And he's like, that's a lot of ifs. You really shouldn't wager on that. And she's like, better odds than what you've played in the past. And so Brienne is always humble about everything, and I love about her, and I cannot wait to read more of her. So this is part 2 of A Feast of Crows 200-page update.